I think that is such a critical thing, a critically important thing to bring up because number one, it is very commendable that you were posting that because a lot of people don't want to post the non successes
Mm.
and the misses and the hardship of jumping. But I think that it's so cool to go back and see like not I mean outwardly it's great for others to be inspired by, but for you it's so cool to be able to go back and see what you were working on and see how you've improved over the
Mhm.
years you've been jumping, and
Mm.
there's a big discussion with most people I talk to. I mean, well, everyone has an opinion on social media because it's so big, but in terms of just jump rope, I think it's such a there's a lot of negatives about social for sure because social brings out who we are as people, same way money or alcohol would, and that gets translated into a digital landscape. But I think that there's the more I guess social media literate you are, the more you look at it as a tool for what it is and how to use it, and see that you have the utmost control over what you are exposing yourself to. I think that when you kind of take that lens, there's such a huge amount of value you can get out of um, both sharing the process and also receiving and seeing the content of others who are also in the process. And the more clear you are about what you actually want out of social, truly, the more you will get a return on it. And I think that people like you that are posting all those misses and the process, it's so cool to see long term, you know. And it reminds me of Declan. I'm sure you know
Yes,
Deck.
of course. Yeah.
Um, he did the exact same thing. He posts every single day, and you can literally, and he's been, at least in the past month or so, he's been resharing posts from years ago, and it's really cool to see the exact like what he actually was doing and how much he's grown since then. And I to me, everything about jump rope ultimately comes back to self-esteem. Like it's really fun to compete, and it's really fun to learn new skills, and it's really fun to engage with people. But the longer I do this, or I mean it's been well over a decade at this point, but the more you do it, the more you really, if you're really paying attention, if you're really tuned in with the human piece of it, not just the I coach or the I sell a rope or the I do this, or I'm I have this many followers, but if you really do take the time to connect with people, you understand that everything ultimately falls back on self-esteem. That is the crux of all of this. And doing what you're talking about, posting early in your journey, posting the misses, posting the issues, like it can be difficult. I think I guess at least publicizing it in the early days, and I guess publicizing it isn't necessarily required, but at least recording it is. But if you do that, you are now it's like a delayed gratification. You're actually building up this self-esteem that's going to trigger later, like it sounds like you have, where in the beginning there's all this frustration, there's doing 25, 30 jumps, stopping at 100, and then moving on to hit style training, and you're able to see this evolution over time. And now that you're where you are, it's been 3 years, 3+ years of jumping.
Yeah, around that much. Although I did stop for the better part of 2018,
Okay.
and I only just took it seriously again in mid of 2019. So yeah, 3 calendar years would be pretty
Okay.
accurate,
So
I'd
so
say.
about 3 years later, even with that big gap of time, you can still go back and you're like, sweet. And you look at what you've accomplished, and like that it inherently feels good, and there's a different flip side of this. Like for me, as someone who has like you have gone up and down with my level of intensity participating in jump rope, I can always go back and see what I've accomplished in the past, which is cool because it's like, all right, well, if I did it then, I probably can do it again now. Within reason, there are some skills that you do that, like, they're so wild and you were just amped that day, and replicating it is hard. But by and large, you can look back at the skill level you were at and be really pumped that not only did you complete it, but you can get back to that if you find that it's a goal worth pursuing, you know. So I think that that's such an important thing to bring up and to share, and you continue to share on your page.